Falcon fans, Falcon Nation, Dirty Fanatics United is coming at you live, not on a Sunday night, not a Monday night, but a Tuesday night here for DFU. It is episode 109. The title for tonight's show, Falcons Nesting in November, episode 109. As always, I am your host, C Money, a.k.a. Chase, and my guy, Philip, my co-host, always, a.k.a. Mr. Avis. My guy, Cody Keeler, is here. Also, Mega Biff is in the chat. Mega Biff is here. Mr. Robert, my other co-host. And guys, we have a very special guest tonight. Falcon fans, this was not advertised. This was last minute. Louis Algier, Mr. Tyler Algier's uncle, is in the building with DFU. Falcon fans, round of applause for that.
Thank you.
Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. Falcon fans, we do it big here at DFU, and we are ready to talk Falcon football. Before we get to the Falcon football talk, Philip, what's going on, man? Obviously, the Falcons have not done what we have wanted them to do and spoke about here on the channel. We'll rotate to Mr. Louis, then Robert, and Mr. Cody. What's been going on, man? How is life treating you right now at this moment, at this period in your life?
Well, overall, I'm blessed to be here another day, man. So I'm thankful for that. Thank God. I'm a little disappointed Sunday, pretty much the past 2 weeks. But I mean, we're 6-5. We're heading to the bye week. We're gonna be okay. I'm feeling, just a little irritated, but we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
Philip, before I don't mean to interrupt you, but I mean it is weird seeing 6-5 now. You were at a point where you were at 6-3. You had the chance. You moved to 6-4. You had the chance to come back and bounce back from the tough Saints loss to be a 7-4 team for the first time since 2016. Yes, you are not 7-4. You're 6-5, but you're still top of the NFC South. Philip, as you say, we will be all right. Philip, I 100% agree with you, man. We got to go into this bye week, get things corrected. Philip, keep on, brother, or are you good?
I'm good. You can pass it on.
Mr. Louis Algier is in the building, Falcon fans. Tyler Algier's uncle is here on DFU to talk Falcon football. Mr. Louis, we are very, very appreciative for you to come by and talk some Falcon football and no other than speak about your nephew, Tyler Algier. Falcon fans, we have a legend in the building. Tyler Algier's uncle is here to talk Falcon football. Louis, what's been going on, man? How's life treating you? Glad to have you here for this episode.
Thank you guys for inviting me. And I'm blessed. I've been blessed and I stay blessed. And
absolutely.
Me personally, my thoughts on this Falcon team, we're there.
Yeah.
I feel like we're there. You know what I mean? I know teams are gonna have struggles and stuff like that, but for me, you gotta admit, from the last 3 years since my nephew got placed on that team to where we are right now, I feel like we're good. We're there.
100%. You've seen a team grow. The only thing that you're lacking, obviously, Mr. Louis, you're a Falcon fan. You've seen it on the tape. Defense has been the problem all season long. Sunday offense is in a drought. Not sure what's going on, but there's a fact that I must talk about here tonight. Tyler Algier touched the ball 0 times in Denver against the Denver Broncos. Falcon fans, that is a problem. We talked about it before the live chat. We spoke on it last podcast. Each game that Tyler Algier has touched the ball less than 5 times, the Falcons have lost that game. Falcons have still not figured out that and have still not figured out the scheme. Falcon fans, we're going to talk about it here tonight, man. Hit that like button. We got the man, Mr. Louis, here in the chat. Robert, what's going on, brother? Glad to have you. Last minute podcast news here tonight. Robert comes through. Robert, what's going on, brother? How's life treating you? And reflect off of Sunday's game.
Well, life's treating me pretty good. Started a new job yesterday, making more money.
Congrats.
Putting a lot of the negativity from this year behind me. As far as the game goes Sunday, we were banged up. We were depleted. We were shorthanded. Just came out with no energy. And I'm not just going to throw, I'm not going to blame it all on the defense.
100%.
Kirk didn't have his best game. And we're going to have games like that where we start out flat and not recover. I mean, happened against Seattle at home a few weeks ago, but the bye week couldn't have be coming at a better time. We can get healthy. We can make adjustments. We get some things fixed. Got to get ready for this stretch down the rest of the way and clinch that division, get in the playoffs.
That's it.
Robert, that is nothing but facts, sir. That right there is why Robert is your third co-host here on Derek Fanatics United, bringing the facts here. You may not want to hear it, but it is 100% the truth. The Atlanta Falcons have got to secure the NFC South. Right now, they sit one game ahead. Cody, what's going on, man? Mr. Robert spitting the facts about Sunday. Cody, I know you've been a busy guy, but how's life treating you? And let's talk about this game Sunday.
Man, you're doing all right. I would say, Sunday's game was rough all the way around, not just offense and defensively. You had to play the referees a little bit Sunday, too.
Mm-hmm.
That ball that they call a catch and a fumble and a recovery, I have no idea what that was. And again, it was part of my keys of the game. Get Tyler Algier started in Denver because you needed to wear out that defensive front, and he touched the ball exactly 0 times, and that's unacceptable with this offense. I know Bijan's is that guy, but Tyler is your knockout punch, and you don't give him the ball once, and it just was. I mean, it just showed up. It was a recipe for disaster Sunday. But it's one of those things you got to move on. You got to look at it. Hey, you're 2 games up on the Bucs still. You're going into your bye week. Time to go get healthy. Time to reevaluate. But ultimately, at the end of the day, guys, something's got to be done about this defense. This Jimmy Lake defense just ain't cutting it.
Nope.
Yeah, absolutely. Cody, we're going to speak on that, and that's a big topic for tonight's show. Tonight's topics, we're going to run through it real quick. Tonight's topics will be a reflection on Sunday's game, a reflection on the first half of these Atlanta Falcons prior the bye week. You have a new team heading out of the bye week. That's the goal. That's the mindset heading into the bye week this season. We're going to reflect on that period of time here for these Atlanta Falcons. It will be a Tyler Algier fest here tonight, Falcon fans. So people sit in your seats, strap up, get some popcorn. It's going to be a hell of a show here for DFU. Also, we will speak on the defensive performance, how to correct that, what the Falcons must get going here heading into week 13 off of their bye week, or it'll be week 14 when we come back and play football. So you don't play no more November. There's no more November football for the Atlanta Falcons. Am I correct, or is that wrong? That's correct.
No, that's correct.
You're right.
Let's wipe the sweep of November, because that was a terrible month. That was a terrible month.
Good, man.
Kirksgiving was not so giving this month. So Falcon fans, let's hope that December will be even better for these Falcons, because we will be playing in January. We'll be playing in January. That's why I'm speaking on January. Preston Sapp in the chat said, "What's good, boys?" Preston Sapp is here. Falcon fans, hit that like button. Tag a Falcon fan if you were in the live chat. He said, "How about them inconsistent ass dirty birds that I love so much?" Falcon fans, we're going to talk about it here tonight. Omno is in the chat. He said, "Koo got his 6 points from last game." Hey, he did. He did do that, Omno. Shout out to Omno. Hit that like button. Falcon fans, leave a comment and let me know. Leave a comment and let me know how you feel about Sunday's game. How you feel about these dirty birds. Cody, go ahead. I know you got a response to this.
What did I say? That was one of my other keys of the game is Tyler, is to say that Young Wei Koo had to hit all of his field goals and he was going to come up big 3 times. Young Wei Koo was the only one who came up Sunday, and I told y'all he'd be fine. He was fine. Koo's going to be Koo, man. And that was really about the only highlight was seeing Koo hitting, 51 and I think a 46. 51 and 46. So Koo's back on track. I ain't worried about my boy. Like I said, I still got my Koo flag. I got my Koo jersey ready to go for our next home game. So love to see that at least.
Koo is Koo. Because the last podcast, Koo not so Koo? Question mark. Koo is Koo, Falcon fans. Hit that like button, man. We're talking Falcon football. The next topic for tonight's show, man, and that's going to be I want to hit this early while we're at our top notch of viewers right now. Hit that like button. We're going to drop something here. Falcon related, definitely Falcon related. We want all Falcon fans to pay attention to this here. Liam McCullough has had a pretty big situation in his family. He says, "Hi, everyone. As some of you may have heard, my younger brother, Rowan, was in a car accident this past weekend that crushed his face and destroyed his right eye. He is in and out of emergency surgeries this week to remove his eye and rebuild his face. His friends have created a GoFundMe to help him cover his medical bills as he recovers. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Please continue to keep Rowan and his surgeries in your prayers, as we believe the Lord still has great plans for him. He leaves a comment that says, please share and consider donating. Link is in the bio. Head to Liam McCullough's Instagram page. Go to this post here, his comment section. He does have the link there for you to donate if you would like to donate, or just simply share here for Liam McCullough while him and his family go through this rough moments. As all Falcon fans, man, to see a Falcon player go through something like this, family related, you never want to see anybody go through this, but Falcon related, it hits even more closer to home when it's a Falcon player. So Falcon fans, keep Liam in your prayers, him and his brother, and donate if you would like to do so. Philip, the next topic here for the DFU recap of Sunday's game, we've got to talk about where it went wrong. What went wrong? What did we not do right? We can make this quick and simple because Sunday was a bad game. There was not much to grow off of Sunday. Philip, run through it quickly. Where did the Falcons go wrong? What was the game plan wrong? Was this a coaching problem? Was this just a straight up out physical battle game where the Falcons were bullied? Philip, let me know your thoughts on Sunday. Where did the Falcons go wrong, and where could this have been turned to a better game for the Falcons to win?
Overall, this was a whole team, coaches, everything. Okay, hear me out. You come in again this week. You came in yet again, and it seems flat. No energy, no nothing from anybody whatsoever. I didn't feel – this ain't the same team I felt the energy from weeks 2 to 6. I didn't see nothing.
I agree.
Nothing happened. I mean, really, you really can't say much because we only put up 6 points. There was just nothing from nobody, and there was no trying to, from what I've seen, there wasn't no trying to, let's get back in there. Let's keep fighting. It was just same old, drive in and drive out. I mean,
3 and out constantly over and over. We're going to bring the stats up here in a minute. Philip,
and the thing is, like, speaking for defensive wise, to me, it just seems like it's your scheme you're running. You're running what looks like a cover 12 on the goal line situation, and it looks kind of stupid in my opinion. You have the talent, and yet you're setting them out there for failure. That to me, that it just don't make sense to me. I'm just disgusted pretty much overall the past 2 weeks, honestly.
Phil, you want to hear you want to hear some stat lines that's going to make you even more disgusted? The Atlanta Falcons went for total yards. The Broncos had 400, the Falcons 226. Passing yards, they're 295 to our 176. Rushing yards, they had 105 to our 50 rushing yards. Tyler Algier touched the ball 0 times, Falcon fans. Yards per play, 4 yards. Flag on the fucking play. Throw it again. Throw it again.
Flag on Zach Robinson for not putting the boy out there. What are you doing?
Yards per play, we had 4 yards per play. They had 6.7. First downs, 13 to their 22. Third down efficiency, the big red flag that's been the problem all season long, 4 for 13 to their 6 for 11. Fourth down efficiency, there's something about that fourth down, 2 for 2. They're 1 for 1. Our total plays, 56 to their 60. We allowed 4 sacks. They only allowed 1 sack. We punted the ball 5 times to their 3. We had 6 penalties for 52 yards. They had 4 for 45, 0 fumbles, 1 interception thrown, 29.55 time of possession to their 30.05. So the time of possession was only a minute, if anything. The Falcons were on the field as much as they were on the field.
I will mention this as well, but at this point in time, you should already put up points, but you were still sort of in this game as you made them turnover on downs, but they want to consider it a catch and then a fumble. Please, NFL, please get it together with your officiating, because that ain't it. I call everything a penalty because I'm just biased, okay? I'm going to be real. I just get pissed about it if something that happens on my team. So I'm going to just be biased. I mean, I'm just going to say everything's a penalty. But for sure, that was not a catch. We all know that. That is horrible.
I agree, Philip.
Horrible. And to me, that was the turning point of the game, which forced them to move it to 28-6.
It was because when they scored that, when they overturned the flag, you could see it in the players' faces. It was over after that. They did not give a fuck because you just cheated the whole game from them. Their only chance to come back, the defense makes a major stop there for the offense after going 3 and out from halftime. I mean, this offense did not get it going, and we got to speak on that. That's another topic for tonight's show. Zach Robinson has still not figured out that screens do not work on 2nd and 20 with Darnell Mooney or possibly Bijan when it's that noticeable. When you have Bijan out there, they know it's a screen pass. I'm sorry. It's noticeable because you've done it all year.
It's either that or in route.
Or the play where you have your fullback or your tight end like Charlie Warner where they do the motion and then they come back and they run right up the center to make a run block. You've ran that play every game. Every game. Teams have called on to it.
Patrick Shafin was right. Our offense is simple. Hey,
yeah, he said it.
Right.
Louis Algier, brother, we want to give you your opportunity to speak here. Sunday's game.
I didn't really watch much of it because I was at work.
That's right. You said that.
The clips that I did see, it was, to me, it looked like it was unpreparedness.
Very, very sloppy. The game plan did not look like it was intact.
No, I thought maybe after taking, I don't even like to say it. I thought maybe after taking that loss to the Saints, I can't stand saying that. It would have been a lot more motivation and a lot more like, we got to get this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the clips that I seen, it showed nothing. I seen jogging on the field. You know what I mean? Yeah. Giving up at the end. Giving up. I seen a pass. I seen a pass and seen the cornerback just jog right after him and let him go right through.
Yeah.
And that's just like, it's like kind of like giving up, And I have a lot of faith in this team. I really do. Because my thing is this is probably the best roster that this team has had, and I've only been a fan since 2000, since my nephew got drafted.
Absolutely.
But I think this is probably the best roster they've had since 2016, if not better. Not better.
No doubt. You have
this is a high caliber roster right here, and they did not show it on Sunday. And that's
absolutely. This offense alone is a top 3 offense talent-wise here in the NFL. You have, to me, the best running back duo in the NFL with Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. You have possibly the best receiving core with Darnell Mooney and Drake London. The tight end room looks pretty nice with a Kyle Pitts, and you have a top 10 offensive line.
That's another thing, though.
Situation.
I need to see more out of number 8. He's open. And he can get open, but Zach's
slow.
Zach is not giving him plays designed good. That is the problem.
Well, something I've noticed with Kirk Cousins and Robert Cody, we're coming to you guys for about Sunday's game, but something I noticed with Sunday's game is Kirk Cousins himself, and this is not a knock on Kirk Cousins because, guys, he threw for 500 yards this season. He's not a bad quarterback. Falcon fans are going in on Kirk Cousins right now. But the reality is, there's some plays where Kirk is looking for a specific person when it comes to, and I've put this together in my mind because I've listened to his interviews when he talks about it was 4th down and I knew Mooney could break loose. Mooney was the guy I was going to go to, blah, blah, blah. But there's certain plays where Kirk is staring down a receiver, like the first down that he threw an interception that he was targeting Drake London in the pocket and Bijan Robinson is wide open in the
I saw that.
Wide open in the flat that had space to motivate to go. Possibly a touchdown when it comes to Bijan Robinson in open space.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
You've got to get the ball to that check down if that deep ball's not there because guys, let's be for real. That interception was forced.
Double coverage. Yeah, you forced it into double coverage.
He had a pocket. He had a pocket to throw out of. Real quick, Robert, your recap on Sunday's game, man. Where did the Falcons go wrong? What could they have done to get this game back on track to win it and go into the bye week at 7-4 and build off of a momentum win?
Well, it's like Louis said, just lack of preparation is what it looked like to me. There's no energy, no fight. I don't know if the loss to the Saints might have gotten their head or whatever. but Zach's got to be more creative with his play calling. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. You know, even when the fourth down play, when we stopped him, when that got reversed and was called a fumble, prepared teams and teams with energy and with fight are going to try their best to scrap their way back into this. It was like they gave up, and something's going to have to change. And I hate to say it because, we're on the brink of doing something special. We're on the brink of winning the division. But this part of it falls on Raheem Morris. He has got to regroup. He's got to get everybody on the same page, or he's going to lose his team like Mike Smith did before he was fired and Dan Quinn was brought in. And, of course, Dan Quinn lost the team, too, in 2020.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. And that's where it comes in where, Robert, you look at it and it's like, okay, if you're – and I just – did anybody see the interview that John Abraham did on TV?
Missed that one.
Nope. John Abraham just did an interview with somebody other than the Falcon organization on the Atlanta Falcons defense. And he said, if you're Jimmy Lake and that you're at this point of the season, you see what your team holds in command, you see you hold the NFC South in place. Wouldn't you, heading into the bye week, sit back, talk to Gray, talk to these defensive linemen, talk to this secondary, and find out what these guys do best, no matter what you want, what type of scheme you want to run, but find out what your players do best. Find out, because you have talent on the defense. There's talent all around that defense. So find out from your players what you do best and maybe change from this 3-4 scheme, because this 3-4 scheme is not fit for these Atlanta Falcons. Do we agree? Do we disagree?
No, I agree wholeheartedly.
I agree with that totally.
I'm cool with a 3-4, but the way he's running it, it's not the way I pictured it. I'm gonna be honest.
You still have not figured out that D-line front. You still have not figured it out. I'm seeing players come in and out. I know you're banged up, but you're playing. Zach Harrison was injured Sunday, but the two plays that Zach Harrison was on the field, Zach Harrison made plays.
They got good. They have good rotation though too.
Deep depth.
Yeah.
Deep depth, able to rotate, but you have not figured out how to get to the quarterback. That is the major issue.
You know what I'd like to see, and he is fit for what I would like to see is Caden Ellis on the edge.
We said it all season, bro. We said it all season on the podcast.
That's
what he did in New Orleans.
Yeah, exactly. That's his bread and butter. Caden Ellis loves hitting quarterbacks. He loves to get through the line, and he loves to punish you. You got Nate Landman, and you got Troy Anderson as cover. All you need is Judon and Caden Ellis on the ends, and oh my God, we wouldn't be sitting on the amount of sacks we got right now.
Absolutely,
I can guarantee you that.
Louis, you are speaking everything that my guy right below you, Cody Keeler, has said all the way from week 1 here on the podcast. Caden Ellis should be on the edge, down on the edge, getting to the quarterback. Cody, I know you got a lot to say about Sunday's game because it's not very often you don't get to watch the Birds in person. You're a season ticket holder. You're at every home game except when they're on the road. So not being able to rep your team that week coming off that bad L, and then they go all the way to Denver and they still come back with a very, very bad L. The worst deficit you've had all season. You lose by 32 points Sunday. Cody, where did it go wrong? What did the Atlanta Falcons not do right? And where could they have maybe step back and grow off of this heading into this bye week? Cody, your thoughts?
Easy. So for me, the beginning of the downfall started on our first drive when you commit stupid fucking penalties again. You are on the 3 to 5 yard line or wherever we were at, and you've got 2 penalties, 2 stupid penalties.
You talking about the first drive, Cody? The first drive where you were in the end zone?
Where you're in the end zone, and now you're back on your 25-yard line. That was the start of your downfall right there because you could see all the energy and wind sucked out of that team right then and there.
They were moving. They were moving.
They were moving the ball. Everybody was ready to go, and then you did what you do constantly. You commit stupid penalties in key situations, and it's unacceptable. That is 100% coaching. That is 100% fixable. That's on Coach Raw. That's on Coach Jimmy Lake. That's on that's on coaching purely. Your players cannot continue to make those mistakes. And that was something I said in the group chat. I was like, the next person that commits a penalty like that commits some stupid penalty that takes you out of touchdown range, that takes you out of field goal range, needs to be running laps all next practice until they're passing out. You cannot continue to take yourself out of good situations, because I guarantee you, if you go in and you score that touchdown, which you should have been able to do because we were on the 2-yard line, that's when you bring in Tyler Algier to blow people up and get that 7 points. And now we're tied 7-7. And still, instead of counting on a Younghoe Koo, 46-yard field goal. You cannot, as much as we talked about Younghoe Koo leaving points off the board last week, our offense left off this week even more. You cannot, in the game of football, commit stupid penalties like that. Because I guarantee you the whole game is completely different if you're tied 7-7 instead of going, well, damn, we're here on the goal line. We're here.
It changes the whole atmosphere. It changes the momentum swing.
Yeah.
You have control on the road now. You've tied the ball on your first drive. You went down. You executed points. Your defense gave up a first drive, but your offense made the call back and went and put up 7 points. But that was not the case, Cody, even though you were on the 1-yard line after Drake London's catch.
Absolutely. And I'm just, it's at the point to where it's almost embarrassing to see, because it's just like, I'm one of those most optimistic fans, guys. And it shows, look at our group chat. Hey guys, we're okay. We're still in this thing. Hey, all we got to do is,
man, at the end of the first quarter, I was ready to sling my phone through the TV. Like I was over that game.
And it's so hard, but it's just like, they have got to quit doing those things. That is something that they teach you in Pop Warner, is you don't commit stupid penalties. Yep. If you want to commit penalties when you're on your side of the ball, okay, or on your back side of the 50, whatever. But when you are in opponent territory, you cannot do this.
Well, let me ask you guys this, and this may be an early conversation, because with this podcast, we love to keep it positive here, and we don't want to bring about the negatives, but this is a very, very situation that could happen here, and we're going to talk about it next after this comment, because I want to talk about this. He says, why are we running Beach up the middle consistently when we have a ball Algier? This is a comment that every Falcon fan that I talked to, that I know was in my inbox, speaking on. Why was Tyler Algier not giving the ball? We spoke with Louis about it before the show. We're going to go around the podcast here. And this is a serious issue, because the Falcons, the stats prove it. When you do not run Tyler Algier, you do not win football games. Right. It's simple. It's just how it works. When you have Bijan, you can use Bijan in the passing game, and you can have a dual threat with Algier as well. It's unstoppable, and it's shown that this season. Philip, we'll start with you and rotate around. Why has Zach Robinson not figured out how to use this two-headed monster in the backfield? And how do we get this situated? Is this something you think Zach Robinson reflects on the bye week, or is this still a continuous problem after the bye week?
In a situation, it kind of feels like how Arthur Smith didn't know how to use Bijan, really.
Absolutely.
It's in a certain way like that. You have two talents now, and we got it. Using Bijan right, but in my opinion, you're overusing him a little bit, and this ain't knocking him down by anything, because he's, even when you give him the ball so many times, he still performs well. That's not a complaint at all. Right. It's just when you get both of them in the mix, it's a different outcome every time. You don't know who's getting the ball. You're confused. Oh, is he going to go?
Does anybody remember the preseason games? Not even the preseason games, but in training camp, Philip, when Bijan and Tyler Algier was in the backfield together at the same time. Does anybody remember those days? Yeah. What happened to that?
Philadelphia game. I mean, you didn't know who got the ball them last two drives. You didn't know. That was smart play calling, but at the same time, I don't know. It's something he can fix in this bye week. It's something that you can definitely fix, but it's if you catch on to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has to understand what he's doing, and I do believe it's just because he's a first year offensive coordinator, and he will learn from his mistakes. He has been doing it all year long. After some games where it's just some things are weak.
He has.
Then the next game it's better. He's growing as we go.
Well,
that's why I think it'll get better as we keep going.
And I think Philip's right. He's learning as he goes, but we're what is this? This is week 10 or week 11. I mean, he's had 11 weeks of game calling, and he hasn't figured out if you don't give Tyler the ball that bad things happen to this team.
Yeah,
I love like we say, we all love Bijan on the show, but it's one of our things too that we've constantly said you have to get Tyler the ball too. Tyler wears people out. He just does. He's just a bigger back. And this was my other problem with the game Sunday was when you see that Bijan's just not getting the job done because whether it be altitude, whether because Denver's front is so much bigger and so it's tougher on him. Why at that point do you not go, hey, we've got a much larger back and Tyler Algier. How about we start running the ball with him? I'm by no means am I a professional coach, but if we're sitting here still talking about how come we're seeing this, but the guy that's getting paid to see this isn't seeing it, I don't understand that. And that is what's getting so frustrating is that we come on here after a losses and we're just like, why wasn't Tyler given the ball more? Why wasn't Tyler? I feel like that is a repeated topic that we bring up. It's like, if we can see that, why is Zach not seeing this? What is he not seeing? And I just don't get it, guys. I really don't.
It's like the saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But at the moment, it's broken.
It's broken bad.
It's broken. Why are you not fixing?
You rushed for 50 yards.
I don't
One
know.
back rush for 50 yards.
I don't know if it's more of like trying too hard or trying, after the season last year, they expected you to have
when the Atlanta Falcons made the comment. When the Atlanta Falcons made the comment in the preseason, when Raheem Morris said that Bijan Robinson would have more of a running back style coming into the season, that he would be featured a lot in this offense, I knew then.
I knew that.
I knew then that they were not going to know how to use these two running backs. And it's a problem because Falcon fans are now calling for the head of Zach Robinson this early and Jimmy Lake. I don't agree with it.
Jimmy Lake maybe, but not Zach Robinson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jimmy's
Louis, I want to hear the man, the uncle of Tyler Algier, his thoughts on the fact of Tyler Algier not even touching the ball last week. Falcons, not only does this matter, but this is going to have teams calling in the offseason to trade for Tyler Algier.
No.
Because Falcons, other fans around the league, other teams know what Tyler Algier have in talent. The Falcons have got to use Tyler Algier. Quit leaving Tyler Algier on the sideline. And Louis, your thoughts on Tyler Algier not touching the ball Sunday? Your nephew, I'm sure you've chatted to him a couple of times since the game, but what is the deal? How are we feeling about this situation?
Well, I don't want to be biased, but you know what? I love Bijan Robinson. I really do. The kid's got talent.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I see, if you remember, Zach Robinson did come from the Rams. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right.
And they use a one-back system.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel I see is happening right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like he seems like he's using the same scheme that the Rams, but this isn't the Rams, bro. This is a run heavy team since I've known. They've always been a run heavy team. And you're not going to be able to change your scheme in one season. If you do it gradually, oh yeah, let's do it.
Right.
But right now, this team is still a run heavy team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's where this O-line stated itself from, was the run game.
That's what this O-line has been built to do, and this is what this O-line is used to.
Yep.
Blocking for an outside zone scheme. That's the way that it's been. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like I remember when my nephew got drafted, it was the perfect situation for him because you know what? He picked up that system so fast because it was almost the exact same system that he had just come from when he was at BYU.
Rookie season, 1,000-yard rusher, unheard of.
1,000 yards and missed the first game of the season.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure he missed. It was probably the first 5 games of that year.
There was a lot of games where they didn't even play him. They didn't even play him a couple games.
And
he still pulled off 1,000. And he still pulled 1,000 on the ground.
He's special, man. He's special.
One thing about that kid, and I talk, and I say to him myself, is that I've heard the good and I've heard the bad about him, but you don't hear too much bad about him. The only thing that he might not have is the speed. But I can tell you right now, that boy can catch out of the backfield. That boy can go right up the middle. That boy can go around the side. Whatever you want him to do, he can do. And he's been doing it since he was in Pop Warner, dude. You know what I mean? And here's my thing. This team, in all honesty, would probably be at least 8-2 if they ran this backfield like Detroit Lions did.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you, because Jahmyr Gibbs is our Bijan and David Montgomery is our Tyler Algier.
Absolutely.
Because you got a north and south runner, you got a downhill north and south runner, and you've also got an elusive back that catches out of the backfields.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you could switch them up so easily on short yardage and third and fourth down and in the red zone that the teams wouldn't even know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And if
absolutely.
they use oh my gosh, if this team used these two the way that they should be used, oh my god, it'd be out of control.
And that's
literally be out of control.
If the Falcons want to make this playoff push, they've got to figure that out this bye week.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to figure out these 2 weeks, because you have your bye week's technically a week, but you have 2 weeks off of football. So these Falcons have got to figure out how to get the identity of the offense figured out, how to figure out a play system for Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. Chat is popping off, man. Shout out to everybody here in the chat section. Mateo says, we made Bo Nix look like Brady. We got killed by screens in our own kind of offensive scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mateo says, no lie, I had a bad feeling facing Sean Payton after losing to the Saints. That was the irony of it all. You just lost to the fucking Saints, and then you lose to Sean Payton's butthole-ass lips. I can't stand that guy. I hate that guy.
I hate him too.
With a passion. Zach Robinson said, or Mateo says, Zach Robinson is definitely experimenting, but I think it's because we don't have the mobile quarterback option. And Philip says, lights keep flickering. Philip's having technical difficulties over out in the country, man. Lights are flickering.
Well,
Philip's out on the house right now with the power line gloves on, trying to get his lights connected.
Well,
so.
And here's the other thing too that I don't understand that Zach's not getting is like, and to Louis' point, like we are misusing our running backs. Could you imagine? So again, I love Bijan. I do absolutely love Bijan. But could you imagine if we pounded the rock with Tyler to start, and you wear the guys up front out, and then you go to a Bijan Robinson? Now their legs are heavy because Tyler has just beat them all to hell. And now you've got to deal with the speed of Bijan Robinson, the elusiveness of Bijan Robinson.
Exactly.
We're not ready for that. But I just don't get it, man. Tyler's got to be more featured in the last half of our season.
Yeah, it's a big situation, and we're going to talk about this whole first half of the season. Carlo Wiggins is in the chat, Falcon fans. Another diehard DFU faithful, another diehard Falcon fan. Carlos Wiggins checking in with the yo. Hit that like, Carlo. Glad to have you here in the chat. Debo Vibes is in the chat. Newcomer here to DFU. So just came across the channel, and I feel y'all's pain. We lost back-to-back games to the Aints and to Sean Payton. Unacceptable. Change needs to happen. Debo, you are spitting facts, sir. Hit that subscribe button so you know when DFU is live. Ring the bell. Hit the like. We are glad to have you here on the channel. Please follow us on our journey to 1K. We're at 449 subscribers at the start of this show, man. Make yourself the 450th subscriber. We appreciate you, Debo. Appreciate the comment in the live chat as well. Hit that like, man. We appreciate you. We'll check your channel out as well. Show the love. Preston Sapp is in the chat. He says, QB top 5 in yardage along with 2 receivers in top 10. Absolutely. You have talent on this roster. You have got to figure out how to get this thing rocking. Knock on wood, we do have an ex-Saints GM.
He went there.
I tell you, it's too early for that, dude. Preston Sapp says a top 10 tight end if used correctly. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Sterling Woods in the chat, another diehard Falcon fan, says, so we are playing 2 first-year coordinators on offense and defense. Was that a mistake? I haven't seen any progress on this team. Let's talk about it, Falcon fans, because this is what the podcast is for, and we'll rotate around the table. Hopefully Philip can make his way back here on the podcast. We'll start with me, and then we'll rotate to Louis, Robert, and then obviously Mr. Cody. It says, was this a mistake? Haven't seen any progress on this team. Well, let's talk about who was available when we were looking for a offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. You had Ben Johnson that is putting 50 points up every week. There was another one.
Bobby Slowick.
Slowick was another dominant candidate. There was a couple of more that you could have hired for offensive coordinator. There was a good DC that was on the list. You could have even hired maybe a Bill Belichick as a defensive coordinator here in Atlanta. He wanted to be tied to Atlanta, but that's besides the point. Raheem Morris was the head coach to pick, which was a very solid pick. I love the Raheem Morris pick. Not knocking Raheem at all. That's not what this is about. But you could have selected a guy that has proven himself in this league, and Zach Robinson had not done that. If you known that you were going to be the team to take, you went and got the Kirk Cousins signing. You thought this was the year. This was the year the Falcons were going to go to the playoffs, win the NFC South, which is the path that the Falcons are headed on right now, currently at the bye week. So, with that being said, is that a mistake? Is it a mistake that you didn't go get that veteran caller, that veteran defensive-minded head coach? Because if you look at it in the prior, you had a offensive-minded head coach the past 3 seasons that could not get offense started. Now you have a defensive-minded head coach that cannot get the defense started. So there's a problem in that system somewhere, and that falls in the lines of coaching, defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator. I don't say it's a mistake because, I take that back. Maybe it is a mistake. But I think in a couple of years, Zach Robinson will be special as a play caller. I think he has a good mindset of how the game operates. He has to figure out, as Louis made a good statement earlier, he hasn't figured out how to use a 2-back system. He's still stuck in his LA days back with the Rams. It's going to take maybe a year for this offense to get clicking. Maybe it takes a year for them to figure out how to scheme a backfield for Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson next season. Maybe you go and draft another target on offense, as Terry loves to do in the draft. Maybe you go and finally get that pass rusher this upcoming draft. I don't think it's a fail. I think Falcon fans are tired of losing, and I understand your pain. But I think Falcon fans have to give this organization time. I think you have to give this team this year time. If you win the NFC South, you are doing good. You are advancing. If you win over, let's be for real, if you win over 7 games, you're done. You've done more you've done the past 2 years with a first-time offensive coordinator, first-time DC, and first-time head coach.
Yep.
The Falcons are going to be all right. I'll close it with that. The Falcons will be all right. Falcon fans just have to give them a chance because let's be for real, who's knocking off the lines right now with 50 points a game?
Nobody.
Are the Falcons walking through the playoffs right now and knocking the lines off? It's any Sunday in the NFL, but this team has a lot of growth to do is all I'm trying to say. This team has a lot of growth to do, and that comes with game time, experience, and this bye week, time to reflect and sit back and see what you've done this first half of the season. Louis, I'll let you answer that question next, and we'll go to Robert and Cody. Was it a mistake hiring a first-time offensive coordinator, first-time DC in the NFL? Should we have went the veteran route, or was it kind of, prone to Raheem Morris to do that, being that he's a second-time head coach and he knows these guys very well, and maybe that keeps a chemistry in the headroom?
Me personally, I think the Raheem coaching, the Raheem getting hired, that was probably like one of the best moves that this I think the Falcons could have made. With the offensive coordinator, I'd say give him some time. I think it was a good move, but I don't think he should have. I don't really feel like he should have brought that much of the staff.
Right.
You know, I think they should have. I think they like defense wise. No one. Raheem is a defensive minded. I feel like they probably should have went. I think they probably should have went like a Mike McDonald.
Yeah, that would have been a solid pick.
That would have been right there. Oh my gosh, that would have been
Gray.
amazing.
You already have Gray in the system. It would have been nice.
Yeah,
that would have been nice.
That would have been really nice right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something along the lines of that. That's the way I see it. I don't think it's a mistake right now because we're gonna go through growing pains. But
Right.
I mean, if you really look at it from the past 3 years compared to where we are right now, I think we're Cadillac.
Yeah.
I think in all honesty, we are Cadillac.
That's
You know
what
what I mean?
that's what I'm trying. That's the point of this podcast, Louis, because there's so many negative Falcon fans, and you're
Yeah.
kind of a newish Falcon fan, but I'm sure you've seen.
I see
the
it
hate.
because I do. I go on Twitter every day, and it's like
Right.
this, and I try, and yeah, I mean that's where I get that's where like my thing is like all you got to do is look 3 years past compared to what we're at right now.
Mhm.
This team is I'm
You
gonna say
wasn't
at
above
least
500 damn near
Exactly.
the past 3 years. Hard to get.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I know we're gonna make it to the playoffs, but it's like the stuff that I see on Twitter is just like you guys gotta like. It's not about hate; it's about love.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
And this team is like, dude, this team is solid. I mean, they are like that whole team. Everything we got on that team is solid. All we have to do is give it some time to mesh.
It's a roster that is built to beat the NFC South. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, easily.
There's no problem getting that NFC South. Robert,
No.
you see the comment. You see the Falcon fans with the hate. I mean, it's normal for Falcon fans to react this way because this is your first back-to-back loss this season, coming off of the Saints game. Now you lose to Denver. Was it a mistake not hiring a veteran play caller in the NFL on the offense and the defense side of the ball? Or was it smart for Raheem to go with a Jimmy Lake and a Zach Robinson chemistry type of signing?
I think it was a smart move on Raheem's part. I mean, Zach is a first-time coordinator. You've got to start somewhere. Now, granted, we're frustrated. I'm frustrated too. But it's like Louis said. I mean, he's still thinking along the lines of the Rams. Single back philosophy, kind of stuck in that way. But to use a quote from Star Wars, when Yoda was training Luke as a Jedi, he says, "You have to unlearn what you have learned." That's what Zach needs to do. He needs to expand his horizons. He needs to, maybe get past, what he's stuck with, The sky's the limit with the talent we got, especially in the offensive backfield. I mean, Bijan and Tyler, they are talent-wise the best 1-2 punch in the league. Zach's got to learn how to utilize it. And as far as Jimmy's concerned, no, I don't think he was a mistake either. Once again, I think he's just, stuck in this 3-4 philosophy. It's something that he's got to figure out. He's got one of the best secondaries. I mean, granted, we were banged up, but, against the Saints, I mean, Justin Simmons, Jesse Bates, A.J. Terrell, they did not look that good.
No.
And maybe it goes back to coaching. Maybe it just goes back to mental fatigue. I mean, we're getting late in the season and just now getting to our bye week. I think both these coordinators will figure it out. We do got to give it time to mesh. We got to give it time to gel. Now, if they're still here next year and we're, suffering the same old setbacks,
then we got an issue. Then we've got
a major issue.
Absolutely, good question. Great question from Sterling Woods. Cody, your thoughts on Sterling Woods' comments about about not taking a veteran play caller. You take the chemistry signing with the Zach Robinson and the Jimmy Lake, and you don't go the veteran route. Cody, was that a mistake, or do you see a chemistry growing here in Atlanta?
No, I don't think it was a mistake. And I disagree that we haven't seen any growth out of this team. The difference in this team from week 1 to week 11 is huge.
Huge.
It is a huge difference between when we started and where we're at right now. So I definitely disagree with the fact that they're not seeing growth, because I am. Now it is consistent as I'd like it to be. Absolutely not. I think Robert and Louie and you hit it, all kind of on the head. It's just, I think Zach is just kind of stuck in that mindset of that single back, we're going to run the Los Angeles Rams kind of thing. And he's just got to unlearn that. It was a great quote by Robert there, with Yoda. I would say anytime you quote Yoda, it's going to be a good one. So, I mean, it's just stuff he's going to figure out. I definitely don't think it was a mistake. Now, the Jimmy Lake thing, I think his biggest problem is because, he had, oh God, why can't I think of his name? Aaron Donald. He had an Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
And we do have Grady in all the sense of the words, but at the end of the day, Grady Jarrett's not Aaron Donald, man. And so that scheme may have worked when you had that guy that, that commanded, those double teams and was still winning. That's just not, Grady's great in his own right. And Grady is probably one of the best defensive players that the Falcons have ever had, will ever have. And so it's definitely not a knock on Grady at all, but he's not Aaron Donald either. He just isn't. He's still great, but he's not Aaron Donald, man. And so I think it's you've got to figure out. And again, I think it comes down to something that, me and Louie obviously agree on. It's got to be the Caden Ellis thing, man. I harp on the Caden Ellis thing every week we're on here. Every week it's just like all throughout our game chat, I was like, there's Caden Ellis again. There's Caden Ellis again. You've got to get him. I mean, again, like Louis said, that he loves that end. And I can't figure out why, Jimmy Lake hasn't figured it out, because he's got that bend, man, to where he gets around people and just absolutely, I mean, so, I guess to get, to kind of close it out. No, it's not a mistake. We're going through growing pains. It's going to happen. And at the end of the day, guys, the good news is we're still leading the NFC South. We're still in charge. We're still in control of our own destiny with a ton of winnable games coming up. You just have to go handle business, fix the mistakes, get more consistent, and just go win football games, man. That's all you got to do.
Yep. Exactly.
Amos in the chat. Philip, co-host in the chat, says power went out, giving me PTSD from a month ago. God. Philip, I got a couch, bro. You can sleep on the couch. You ain't got to go without power, though. I got a couch you can sleep on. Southern Woods in the chat said it just doesn't seem like this defense is in the right scheme. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. It doesn't at all. Mateo says Grady just isn't 100% with that brace on his leg. He isn't, but Grady's still being an impact in the run game, man. It's just like nobody else is getting the pressure with him. It's just like even Automata this year, this 3-4 is just not fit for these guys. A lot of players are taking double teams, and the linebackers are just not fit to blitz and cover a tight end or a slot receiver. It's just it's a lot for this team to learn right now. Like we said, it's going to take a lot of growth, and that happens through this bye week, through these 2 L's. Bounce back. If you can come out and beat the Chargers, man, if you come out and beat the Chargers, what a statement that is coming off the bye week. Yeah. That would be nice. Mateo says 4-1 in the division is the positive we can build on. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is your positive for this season. Outrun the South. And as Raheem Morris has said all season, why not us?
Nope.
Why not us?
Yep.
Real quick, because we're getting close to our 1-hour podcast. And Louis, we got to have you back on, man. I don't know when you're free again, but we got to have you back on to make it just a straight Tyler Algier podcast.
I got you. You see how I jumped in the last minute? All you got to do is say the word. And I'm not in. And this isn't. I don't really even know how to do these things. This is the first. This is the first actual podcast I've ever done.
Well, hey, you're doing a great job, brother. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So we will definitely get you back on so it can be a straight Tyler Algier podcast. I want to talk for our last closing subject for the night, a reflection on today or this whole season from today's standpoint up to the bye week. Robert, we'll start with you, then go Cody, Louis, and then I'll close it. What is your overall grade for these Atlanta Falcons through the ups and the downs leading up to this bye week? What do you grade the Atlanta Falcons from an A to a D? Robert, we'll start with you, and then maybe your reasoning why.
I will give them a B- because, like Cody said, I mean, there has been growth. I mean, this team is much more talented, and they have, made leaps and bounds as far as, growth goes compared to the last couple of years. I don't grade them any lower than that because, like I said, there's going to be growing pains. We've had injuries. That's just part of the game. But the fact that we're sitting at 6-5, we're leading the division, that says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't think any of us really thought that we were Super Bowl contenders going into the season, although anything can still happen. But, as far as, what we've got, as far as what the future looks like, and as far as where we've come from, yeah, I give them a B, and I will give them a B- because of the mistakes.
Yeah, right. I think that's a solid grade on the Falcons' point.
The mistakes that should be easily cleaned up, especially the penalties, and that's just something that they're struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, this bye week is going to be about getting healthy, cleaning up those mistakes, and we got to come out and, guys, anybody that's going to be going to the Charger game, bring the energy. The players need it right now.
Yep.
Yes.
Atlanta's hungry for a winner. I've been a fan for 46 years. I'm hungry for a winner. But the players feed off of the fans. I mean, absolutely. I remember in the early 80s, back when the Buffalo Bills were only winning 2 games a year, that stadium was always full. Why can't Atlanta do that?
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Robert always with the big facts. And the B- is a solid grade. The B- is a good grade because really, Robert, if you beat the Saints, all right, you go 5-0 on the division. Okay, you have a 5-0 over the division. So if you lose to Denver, an AFC team, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. So, but now you've kind of dug yourself in this hole where you're 6-5, and you could potentially fall to 500 flat if you lose coming off of a bye week to a very dominant quarterback in the NFL, Justin Herbert.
Well, and honestly, I think if we do win that Saints game, even if we do go into Denver and lose, we don't get blown out like that.
No, you don't. You don't.
That was, I don't know what happened in New Orleans. It might have been that voodoo that those yahoos practiced down there. I don't know. And, they get out there with the snakes and do those dances in the center of the field in that big, gigantic freaking toilet that they call a dome.
Yeah.
But I digress. But I don't just, the Saints game was a trap. We should have been prepared. We weren't. Does that fall on the coaches? Yes. Does it fall on the players? Yes. Mm-hmm. But again, the bye week couldn't have come at a better time for us.
Absolutely.
We have got to make the most of it. We've got to get healthy. We've got to get focused. And there's no reason why we can't. I still believe in this team. I still think we're winning this division. I still think we're getting a home playoff game.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Rise up, man. Robert, a diehard Falcon fan. Mateo in the chat says maybe he can get Tyler on. That would be sweet. Rise up, boys. Let's get back this bye week and get ready for the Chargers. Hashtag DFU. Mateo, man, we appreciate you, brother. Hey, that's always the goal. Every Falcon player we can have on this podcast, man, that is the goal for DFU. We've had, Mike Johnson and John Abraham so far, the Falcon. John Abraham, the biggest one, the Ring of Honor, John Abraham. That was amazing. Awesome guy, John Abraham. So, yes, Tyler is definitely on the wish list for DFU here. Mateo says, let's hope the Bucks and Panthers lose this week. Rise up, boys. Hashtag DFU. Rise up, Mateo. Cody, this question comes to you, brother. First half of the season up to the bye week. How are we feeling? Give me a grade and what you graded, why, a reasoning behind it. What would you grade these Atlanta Falcons here up to the bye week, A through D?
I'm kind of with Robert. I'm going to give them a B, though, because I feel like a lot of the mistakes are very easily correctable. I feel like Zach is going to figure out, hey, we've got a 2-headed monster in our backfield. Use it and use it the right way. So, I mean, yeah, man, I would say, honestly, you had the defending champions on the ropes, and you should have beat them until there was no PI call. You played Philadelphia, which is, I know, is kind of a different team because they got their wide receivers back.
In Philadelphia.
But you took them and beat them in Philadelphia, and that's never an easy place to play.
Dude.
This team is tough. And have we had some setbacks? Yes, but you've absolutely won games that you need to win. You swept the Buccaneers. Unfortunately, you split with the Saints, but it's okay because right now we're in control. We're in total control of the South, so that's why I'm giving them a B. Had they had beaten New Orleans, and lost to Denver, they probably got an A from me. But because they lost those two, they slipped to B minus. But the only place that this team can go is continue to grow, man, because they're showing it week in and week out. Obviously without the Seahawk and Bronco loss, that they are fighters. Coach Raheem Morris said it best. These guys are fighters. And it'll be real good to see them come out. Could you imagine coming out of the bye weekend, you just absolutely smack the Chargers, right? You smack the Chargers in the mouth. The Panthers, and Bucks lose. And then you turn around and you go to Vegas, or do you go to? I can't remember if you go to Vegas or if you wherever you go.
It's them or either Minnesota. It's them or Minnesota.
Them or Minnesota. But could you imagine you smack LA in the mouth? You go and you beat a much better team than everybody thought. I thought Minnesota was going to be garbage.
One thing that I'm really keying in on, and I'm watching heading up to the game after the bye week, is the Chargers right now rank number 1 in quarterback pressure. Number 1 in the NFL and at quarterback pressure. So the Falcons have got to figure out that heading out of the bye week. So. Yeah.
Well, just keep Kirk clean and you'll be all right, I think, But yeah, no, I give our boys a solid B, and I think the things that are fixable will be fixed. I think, things are just getting better, guys. I would say they're learning. It's a new squad all together with a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. It's going to take time, but I think this bye week comes at the right time. Get healthy, man. That's the other thing. We've got to get healthy. That was one of the things that they kept harping on in the Bronco game was, another Falcon player hurt. It's like, how many more can we possibly have? So take this week, go get healthy, go smack the Chargers, and everything's right in the world.
Mr. Louis, a.k.a. the man, the myth, the legend, Tyler Alger's uncle is here with DFU, man. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Mr. Louis, what would you rank this Atlanta Falcons team, A through D, this first half of the season? Obviously, it's some ups and some downs. Where are we feeling and where are we standing with this team?
I agree with Cody. I'm going B because, for the last 3 years, it's been nothing but F.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, absolutely.
And I just wish that our fan base would be a lot more optimistic, because in all honesty, from week 1 to where we're at right now, I think it's like a 360, a nice 360, because at this point in the season last year, we're on the low. We were on the low.
I'm sure you can feel the hype from your nephew Tyler. I'm sure you can feel it when you talk about this season.
Bro, I walk out here in California, and I've met within the last 3 months, I've met 3 Falcon fans, and they said rise up. That's the first thing they said is rise up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tell them who I am, and they're like, we love that kid.
Yeah,
every one of them said that.
All the Falcon fans do. You never see.
Oh yeah,
it is highly rare that you will ever come across a comment on the internet that is a hate comment about Tyler, because I have never met a Falcon fan that does not like Tyler Algier, and that is fact. That is fact.
But it's not just him though; it's the team in general. Yep. This team. Oh my gosh, this team! I'm telling you, I've only been watching Atlanta Falcon football since 2022, and this team is amazing right now. This team is I feel, in all honesty, we have a Super Bowl caliber team.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we do. This roster is
they can be it.
They can be it. It's just a matter of like we've all been talking about. It's just a matter of getting it meshed together, fixing the flaws. You got to take into consideration. We got three brand new solid coaching staff. Yep. That's leading this team to look where we're at right now, 6-5. 6-5.
You're almost at the win total that Arthur Smith did 3 years in a row.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And we're not even sweating the playoffs because we're there.
Yeah, you're right there at it. You're knocking on the door, man. You just got to close out the South.
Yeah,
So a
that's
solid
it.
B, a solid B from the man, Tyler
Yes, sir.
Algiers' uncle. A solid B. Sorry guys, I got a little crazy
run
running
away.
around in the podcast room. So give me 1 second. But my grade for these Atlanta Falcons this year, leading up to this point, I'll give it a B. It'll be a three-way B to Mr. Roberts B minus, and I agree to Mr. Roberts' extent too, because honestly, if the Falcons win the game against the Saints, and they somehow lose the games to the Broncos barely, not like we did Sunday, but they lose the games to the Broncos, I'm giving the Falcons a B plus for this season. If they sweep the NFC South, the Falcons get a B plus. Damn near an A minus for me. The Saints L was a major pride teardown for me, and then when you come out and you get dogged like you did against the Broncos, man, and it's just a simple fact of coaching was the reason why you lost that game, because we had the talent to match with that team.
Yeah,
There was no reason. There was no reason why we shouldn't have won that game. Keith, no sweat, is in the chat, said Tyler is the truth. Shout out to Keith, man. A new comment here from Mr. Keith. Hit that comment, leave a like, and subscribe, Mr. Keith, if you like what you see here from this podcast, because we have a lot of special guests here for you on this podcast. And we have the man himself, the uncle of Mr. Tyler Algier, Mr. Lou here tonight. Just random guests, man. Random guests. And Lou, thank you for coming through, brother. We greatly appreciate it. Absolutely.
No, thank you guys. This was awesome.
When's the last time we've been over 500? That was back in 2017, I believe.
Yep, 2017.
2017 was the last time.
Now, before we do get too far, Louis, I do have a question for you. This has been killing me before I forget to ask it.
Run.
Have you ever put on the pads and tried to tackle your nephew? And if you have, what was that experience like?
No, but it's I've never I can't do it. I'm too scared.
That's a big boy.
I'm too scared. It's hard for me to even hug that kid. But I'm gonna give you guys a little treat. Mom, tell him rise up. Rise up, Falcon.
Rise up.
Rise up.
That is Mr. Algiers' grandma, fellas. So shout out to that, man. What a cool experience to have on the podcast here, dude. Tyler Algiers' family, diehard Falcon fans. They love their nephew. They love what he does. I'm sure. Could you imagine the happiness they have for their nephew and their grandson? I mean, it's awesome, dude, and it's an experience that you were able to bring here on the podcast for Falcon fans. So, Louis, again, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Keith Sweat in the chat says, remember, we got first-year offense and defensive coordinators. Absolutely. It's going to take some time, man. It's going to take some time here in Atlanta, but when it starts clicking, it's going to be amazing. I truly believe it. Falcon fans, we have reached our hour mark. We will get Mr. Louis back on the podcast sometime soon to have a Tyler Algier Fest here on the podcast. Falcon fans, I want to thank everybody that tuned in. Before we get out of here, Robert, we'll start with you. Rotate around. Shout-outs for tonight's show before we close it out.
Well, shout out to you guys for letting me be a part of it. As always, it means a lot. You know, it's an honor and a privilege. Shout out to Louis. Thank you for being here, sir. It was an honor and a privilege meeting you. And, you know, you're welcome back anytime. Shout out to our viewers. Without you guys, this isn't possible. You know, just keep the recommendations up, pass the word along, you know, just help us build this channel. And
absolutely.
Shout out to God in heaven, and special shout out to Brianna, Peyton, Zach, and Christy. Love y'all. Rise up.
Rise up, as my dog, Mr. Robert says, man. It's bounce back time for these birds. Cody, shout outs for tonight, brother. Glad to have you here for the podcast. Last minute podcast, and my dogs always pull up. Cody, appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely, man. Well, shout out, you know, you guys, especially you, Mr. Algier. It was definitely a pleasure. You know, give Tyler our love, man, for sure. You know,
absolutely. Dude, Mr. Louis, please tell Tyler DFU is his biggest fan.
Oh yeah,
and we would love to set up a little interview with him if he ever has the time. We would love to.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. A good time would be in the off season. We could try to make that happen.
Absolutely.
But you know, thank you for coming on, man. It's always kind of, yeah, it's really cool, you know, to get, you know, that perspective. So I can only imagine how proud of you are of your nephew. You know, we back him. I'm out there yelling for him all the time too. The funny thing is my uncle is a huge Tyler Algier fan because he's a big BYU guy.
Yes, sir.
When he got drafted to the Falcons, that's all he wanted to talk about to me was, hey, you ever going to meet Tyler? Hey, do you ever think that possibly, do you ever, it's like, I don't know, man. So I'm definitely going to have to let him know, hey, we had the next best thing. We had Tyler, your uncle on here. You got to go check that out. So thank you for coming on and doing this. This is absolutely awesome. But, shout out to everybody that comes on, watches every week, guys. Again, thank you for liking, subscribing on that road to 1,000. So we're getting there, but, and of course, always shout out to the Falcons, guys. Keep fighting. It's, the true Falcon fans are going to be here no matter what. Absolutely. And I know that there's at least these 4 right here and Philip, 5. We're not going anywhere. We're here whether you're 17-0 or you're 0-17. We're behind y'all 100%. Yep. It's just going to get better. We can't wait to see it bounce back and go slap LA in the face, get this thing turned around. So I mean that's all I got, boys. Rise up.
Yes,
Cody,
sir.
Shout out to you, sir. Shout out to Mr. Cody. Rise up. Louis Algier, Mr. Tyler Algier, the man. His uncle is here in the chat with his Falcon fans. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Louis, once again, man, thank you. Give me your shout outs for tonight, brother. It was a pleasure to have you.
My shout out is to you guys right here, DFU. I appreciate you guys for inviting me to come on the podcast. I got all shout outs to the whole team and God and my whole family and everybody out there that's watching. Thank you guys for having me on there. And we got to rise up because we got to keep the positivity on this team because we're going nothing but up.
Yep, absolutely, man. I want to give a shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight, man. All the new faces in the comment section, guys. We greatly appreciate y'all. If y'all would subscribe, you don't know what it means here to us 4 on the channel, man. Like I said, me and Philip started this thing up as a hobby, and it's turned into a lifetime goal now for us, man. So subscribe to it, man. Hit that like button, comment. We've got some new faces on the way on the road to 1K. We got Mr. Cody, our first ever new guest on the podcast, our new co-host Cody, and then obviously we introduced Mr. Robert, another diehard Falcon fan, to the podcast this year. So DFU is doing nothing but growing, man, and we're bringing you Falcon fans content each and every week, in and out, man. Each week we bring you Falcon content. Hit the subscribe button, man. Ring the bell because when we go live, you're gonna know it. It's gonna come across your phone. DFU is bringing Falcon content, and there's no telling what guest is going to be on the show for that night. Shout out to my awesome co-host, man. I could not do this show without you guys. Shout out to my awesome wife for watching the babies while I do this hour-long podcast after a long day at work. Shout out to the wife. Shout out to all the Falcon fans that has shown this channel love. Once again, you guys do not know what it means to me and our other podcasters here on the channel. Shout out to Mr. Louis Algier, man, for coming in last minute. Awesome job for your first podcast ever.
Thank you.
I mean, I was nervous as hell my first podcast, but you did very, very well, Mr. Louis. Must run in the family a dominant performance all around. Shout out to Mr. Algier, man. Once again, Louis, we're gonna get you back on. We're gonna have a Tyler Fest. That's what we're gonna call it, Tyler Fest episode, man.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, brother. Shout out to all you Falcon fans, man. DFU is up and out of here. Episode 109 is in the books. As always, A-Town down, rise up. We up out of here, boys.